Again, who will tell my people the first religion was formed when the first fool fell into the hands of the first con men? When you poof out your broad chest and holler, I want to return to our roots, the roots of my fathers. Please, which roots do you mean? I'm actually reading out the statement, the extremely powerful statement by Igbonekwu Ogazimorah, a seasoned journalist and I believe a graduate of history who was also at a point a commissioner in Enugu State. I found the statement very corroborative of things I have told the Igbo people for over 20 years and only very few have listened. So I want to use it again to tell our people that I will start all over again. Again, who will tell my people the first religion was formed when the first fool fell into the hands of the first con men? When you puff out your broad chest and holler, I want to return to our roots, the roots of my fathers. Please, which roots do you mean? Do you know that most, if not all, the deities in Igbo land arrived just about 280 years ago? Meanwhile, archaic Igbo history long affirmed that the authentic Igbo religious roots had long been formed, spread, and inculcated before the beginning of the 11th century, but it had come under assault by a Gala political oligarchy, Ekoi, Anru, Ibibio, Idoma, Muhammadan militaristic pressures about 280 years ago. Prior to the 16th century, the Igbo were deeply religious but never had any such thing as mighty, hurtful, destructive deities, the kind that our young men and women copy as amateurs these days and use as cover for atrocities. The Igbo worshipped God by looking into the sky in supplication and making propitiation to the earth. Annie. The Igbo do not have too much of time with elaborate edification of groves, effigies, and manipulative huts. It was in a gala interaction with the Omambala and Soka sub-regions of northern Igbo land that worshipping through water, invention of deities associated with rivers, streams, rivulets, valleys, hills, etc. slipped into Igbo worship system. In the southern Igbo, the Efik brought same. The Doma influenced the creation of similar deities in northeastern Igbo land. The exemplification of the core Igbo worship system was the oracular system, which exhibited no physical power, no threat to any person, no dreaded imageries, no frightening incantations, etc., but was built entirely on clearly stated and pre-publicized values. That self-sufficient theocracy was a baffle to the colonial masters that they wondered how unarmed oracular priests, agents, possess the powers to direct communities, place effective curses on errant societies, and compel obedience or compliance ahead of the threatening overlords of Egala, Anru, Aka, etc. So when you puff out your chest and yell, I'm returning to our roots, please tell yourself the truth. Are the roots the foregoing Egala, Efik, Ibibio, Ekoi influenced groups, or the plain, unadulterated, and simplified exercises in looking up to the sky and silently muttering your reverence to God, reverence of God, or in underscoring your mortality by supplication through the earth, Annie? The choice is yours. Just be sure you understand what you get into. From 2007 to 2010, I studied deities and diplomacy in pre-colonial formation of Igbo states at a humble apex level. Bros, all na 419 like the just unveiled Nderi Atwewu at Eziago, fraud of imaginable proportion. If I tell Ogazimorah Igbonekwu that what he described here was the simple faith of the Israelites. He would not listen. Something happened to our people. All the individuals we revered, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, Michael Okpara, Chinua Achebe, Odumegwu Ojukwu, they didn't have any issues that we all have Israelite roots. If we had not Israelite roots, how come that everything that you find in Omenana, even the term Omenana itself, is in the Hebrew Bible? But something happened to the Igbos. The Igbos began to doubt this. One of their daughters visited the Ooni of Ife and came back and began to reinvent Igbo history to resemble Yoruba history. She began to tell the Igbos that you existed before human beings, because she had no knowledge of Adam, of what Adam meant. Adam meant human beings. She began to tell the Igbos that you existed before humans, and she was celebrated by even the people you find in Ohanaeze. If you don't know where you are coming from, you will never know where you are going to. Ogazimorah Igbonekwu, what you described that you saw at Nri, that we all saw, was the Levitical tradition. The Jews are where they are today, able to defend themselves. The Igbos are not able to defend themselves because the Jews are not denying that the Israelites were their ancestors. I will yield at this point. Continue importing abominations. Continue creating abominations. Continue supplicating and lying down before things you created with your hands. And tell me how those things will not get better than you. Tell me how you are even dreaming that you will rule Nigeria when you have agreed that you are idolaters and pagans, which your ancestors would have rejected with the longest, which your ancestors would have spat at. People who cannot stomach kings, cannot worship things that the eyes can see. I don't know what to do to the Igbos for them to see and to hear.